If you're new to gaming monitors, you're probably going to get a bit lost in all of this.
144Hz, 240Hz, 540Hz, 1080p, 1440p, FreeSync, G-Sync, FreeSync Premium, sRGB, Adobe RGB, IPS, VA, TN, OLED, ROLED, QD-OLED, HD, QHD, WQHD, AI Gaming, ULMB, whatever this is.
So if you're looking for a new gaming monitor and don't know where to start, well, this video is for you. I'll share some things to look out for when buying a new gaming monitor. Some of these things not everybody thinks about, but I do, and that is because I am a... Let's start with the numbers, specifically hertz or refresh rate. How many times your monitor will update the image that you see. More hertz is more updates to your monitor, which does mean more speed. Buying a high refresh rate monitor is one of the bigger upgrades you can make to your setup, especially if you're moving from a low refresh rate monitor. You may not notice the benefit straight away, but in a couple of months if you swap back to 60Hz refresh rate, your eyes will probably bleed. First, you need to make sure that your PC can output the same FPS as the monitor's refresh rate. If you get a 144Hz monitor and you can't even reach 100 FPS, you won't get any benefit and it will cause screen tearing, again making your eyes bleed. But if you have a monitor that supports G-Sync or FreeSync, then it will lower the refresh rate of your monitor to match your output FPS, which will resolve this issue, but it shouldn't be the reason to buy a 240Hz monitor if you only get 120 FPS. Only idiots would do such a thing. In my defense, I did plan to upgrade my PC after I bought my 240Hz monitor, but I'm still waiting for that YouTube money to come through. A big talking point is what refresh rate you should go for. 144, 180, 240, 360, 480, 540. These are all impressive numbers, but which one is the best? Well, the biggest one. The general opinion is that yes, there is a noticeable difference between the high refresh rates, especially when it comes to motion clarity. What you go for though depends on what you can afford, what your PC can run, and whether or not you will upgrade your PC in the future. I will be providing some recommendations a bit later. Addressing which type of gamer you are is a step forward in helping you find the right monitor. A competitive gamer will care more about how fast the monitor is, so a higher refresh rate that can display fast motion a lot clearer. An immersive gamer would care more about the visual clarity that the screen provides, anything that will help them become fully absorbed in the world of their chosen game because their real life is filled with misery. On the other hand though, I guess competitive gamers actually seek out games that make their life miserable. Anyway, immersive gamers would care more about increased resolution, contrast and display size, and maybe slightly less focus on refresh rate. The best thing to do is look at what games you play the most, the games you've been playing, and also what you might play in the future. Based on myself, the majority of games that I've played in the last couple of years aren't exactly your AAA graphically demanding games. If I sort them by playtime, it's even clearer that I prefer multiplayer games, with my most played being competitive ones. It's obvious that I have very low standards. Most of these games are running on the lowest graphics to try and get 240 FPS out of them for my 240Hz monitor. Spoiler alert, I don't. It then means if I do play a game that has any kind of graphical fidelity to them, it's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen because most of the time I'm used to looking at something like this. In my case, the monitor that I currently have, which is like some Acer Predator one, is a 240Hz monitor that's 27 inches, which is perfect for me. I'll put a link in the description for a more immersive gaming monitor and also a monitor designed for competitive games. So monitor size is another thing that I think can catch people out a little bit. Because you're often so excited and hyper-focused on getting something new, you don't really pay attention to what the monitor is going to sit on. In terms of the display size, it comes down to what you're playing. A bigger monitor is more immersive, but a smaller sized monitor, for me, is a lot more practical. Everything is within your peripheral, there's less looking around at various elements on your monitor. I personally think that 27 inches is a sweet spot between competitive games and also it being a suitable size for other tasks. This might be a bit of a hot take, but I think 24 inch is also completely fine for competitive FPS. 32-inch screens are just a bit too big for me. and that size of display is mainly favoured for those that prefer immersive gaming. You've also got to consider the monitor stand that it comes with. A lot have these really annoying V-shaped legs that just stick out, which take up a lot of space, and in my case, as my desk is rather small, it gets in the way of my mouse pads. Just check the size of the stand that the monitor comes with and see if you will benefit from a monitor arm or a different stand. Most monitors have a VESA mount support, so just check to see if it's 75 or 100mm and buy an arm that supports it. When it comes to money, the more you pay, the more you can expect a perfect monitor that can do anything. As you go down the price bracket, that's when you'll start seeing monitors that are limited in some way, be it refresh rate, the panel that it uses, or even warranty and after-sales support. So if you are on a budget, you might have to sacrifice some things, so identifying what you're using a monitor for is a great way to really get the most out of your money. To me, the more money you pay, the longer warranty your monitor should come with. If you buy something cheap, expect 1 year. Spending more should come with 2, and so on. Because monitors aren't really subject to standard wear and tear as it's just sitting on your desk, I believe that getting something that has a decent warranty length is worth it, especially if you pay a lot of money. And to me, when I buy a monitor, I'd expect to get at least 4 years out of it. You might wonder about the different types of monitor panels, the most common ones being IPS, VA and OLED. There are some TN panels knocking around, but these are mainly very high refresh rate monitors that are only used for one specific purpose, which is esports. There's a lot of downsides to them, so for a regular person it's not worth looking at. These are literally for professional gamers, and no matter how many times you tell yourself you aren't one, statistically. OLED is the fastest monitor type that you can get currently, but these are expensive, so you'd be looking to pay around $450 at least for lesser known brands and at least $600 from more known brands. However, these monitors are on another level. VA is good, but these monitors tend to suffer a lot with fast motion clarity and are mainly suited for immersive single player games, as most of them come with a curved screen. Wow. IPS is probably the best all-round option, and you can get some great monitors for cheap these days. My monitor I think cost me around $320 in 2021 for a 240Hz 1080p. Now you can get a 1440p monitor for the same price or even less than that with the same refresh rate. Damn. At the moment this channel does not earn nearly enough money to go out and buy a load of monitors and test them, and my PC also probably couldn't handle them anyway. Unless you subscribe to this channel and join the YouTube membership thing, maybe. The recommendations I have given you have been curated by my Discord, more specifically someone called Bepsy. I'll put his recommendations in the description below. I'd also suggest checking out reviews from channels that are specifically about gaming monitors. My go-to suggestion for this is a channel called Monitors Unboxed. It's a sub-channel of Hardware Unboxed, and it's fully focused on monitors. They post regular recommendation videos for the best monitors, including budget options. They also keep these updated, as monitors are a continuously improving product, and sometimes they seem to have 6 month to 1 year life cycles. What's good today may not be best in a year's time. But what I really like is when they review a monitor, they go through the manufacturer claims. They test them and then essentially fact check what they've said, which I think is great. Finally though, and this might be controversial, but ignorance really is bliss. Most of the time, you won't notice the minor flaws that your monitor has. So unless you need perfect color accuracy for work, it's probably best not to worry too much on the finer details. My home monitor is an Acer Predator something. I play all my competitive games at 1080p with everything on low. Single player games I hardly play, but as long as the FPS is consistent, I don't care. For me, my ignorance has given me low standards that I am completely happy with. My monitor and setup is garbage compared to others, but until I see something better with my own eyes, what I have currently is the best thing they've ever seen. I get it. Now, I've only scratched the very surface of gaming monitors in this video, and believe me, it goes so much deeper than the stuff I've talked about. And I've kept it rather vague because it can get overwhelming with all the particulars that make up a gaming monitor. Hopefully, I would have given you things to think about to help you get the best monitor for your needs. If not, I'm sorry for letting you down. Hopefully this video isn't a complete disaster. This is the first monitor video I've ever done. I do know a bit more about mice though, and there's a video on screen now that will hopefully make me sound more convincing.